Hey guys, this is Mike. Who else does these show interviews? And this is WISPA America 2017 in Memphis. This is our first interview on Tuesday. Note that nobody took me up on the Free Pass Monday, so I will be rating
Is it
vendors.
Free Pass Tuesday?
It is. It was only valid for yesterday when I had nothing else to do. So here we are with Hal from IgniteNet, and they've got some new products / product changes, and I'm sure you guys will have some questions, and he'll try to answer them before you ask them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having us on here today. And so we just want to go through some of our new products, talk about some of our existing products as well. So if you want to follow me. So we do have a existing switch that we already had shipping. This is the fiber switch with 4 10 gig uplinks, SFP plus. We have a PoE version of this one as well. That's basically the same thing in copper plus still 4 10 gig uplinks.
I was going to ask how the PoE worked over the SFP.
Doesn't work too well, no. So, and then we have added a new model here. This is for smaller installations. Basically, it's an 8-port PoE switch with 2 SFP regular, not plus uplinks. And this is a more cost-effective, like small office or a big home, I guess, where you need a lot of access points.
Yet on these two, just real quick, I do like the 2 sources of power.
Yep.
And if you don't have a DC plant, just get a regular power supply, just plug the damn thing in.
Yep, and it does have the added advantage basically that it can work as a redundant power supply. So you can have AC and DC, and if one fails for some reason, it'll fail over.
And then I also like this other guy here from an aspect of looking at some of the MDU stuff. I was trying to figure out a concept, and someone had suggested 1 switch per floor. I'm trying to figure out all of the other logistics and so that to do, but that'd make a good 1 switch per floor switch.
Exactly.
And then you've got one of those guys at the bottom.
Yep, to feed it all. Yeah, absolutely. So moving this way, so we do have our already shipping enterprise access points. The one new addition that'll be shipping very soon is this one. This is an AC 1900. So it's 4x4 dual band concurrent wireless, basically super fast, and it does have an SFP port. So you could use this as like a fiber to the home or fiber to the business termination device. And these are fully featured. You can do multi-SSID, routing, bridging, whatever you want to do with that. So this is the new addition to the Sunspot family. For homes, we have a new gateway product as well. Again, it's more of a traditional type dual band concurrent 11 AC router. And this would be typical if you want to offer like a managed router or managed access point for homes and businesses. Basically, we brought enterprise wireless down for ISPs to use to deploy to their customers. To build onto that, we've introduced a new concept as well this year, which is the application platform. So the idea behind it is that it's really about how do you do more with these devices besides just provide a connection. The analogy I like to give is today you don't use a flip phone, right? And the reason is because you do a lot more with your phone than just make phone calls. Same thing with the wireless platform. When you go and install a residential customer, you want to be able to upsell them with other applications like family safe internet or antivirus, anti-malware at the network level. With business customers, you want to be able to upsell them on social marketing, enhanced guest Wi-Fi, business intelligence. So we have applications now, we're up to about a dozen, that cover different market verticals, gyms, restaurants, homes, all these things. The idea being is that when you go and sell internet access to a customer, you have the opportunity to upsell them, add another $15, $20 a month. So that's really what we're all about. And that actually leads us to the cameras here. So these are our sister company, SMC Networks. There's a Vandal-approved dome camera, there's Bullet camera, there's an indoor Wi-Fi camera. Again, these can be provisioned through the IgniteNet cloud. So if you have a customer, you're selling them managed wireless services. You're selling them our upcoming Family Zone add-on for family safe internet. They may want to go out and buy, say, like a Nest camera. So instead of them basically going to someone else and buying that IP camera service, the ISPs can offer that themselves. So you get paid for them using your network to do what they're going to do anyway.
Sure.
So this is available again on a wholesale basis, and then you mark it up as an ISP for whatever you want and offer it to your customers.
And I do like that the technology on that Wi-Fi based camera. IgniteNet has done some new cloaking innovations. You can't even see it, can you?
It's right here. So again, this is a product that we launched last year. This is a media converter. This is I would call it an unmanaged device, so you can't manage it through an IP address. But it's fiber and power in and PoE out, or reverse, PoE in, fiber plus power out. This could be for fiber to the home on the side of the home. This could be used to run fiber up a tower and then convert it back to PoE at the top. We do have a managed version of this coming. Basically, it's the exact same form factor. The difference is that you can do full management. If you wanted, you could even do routing.
Okay.
So this, again, becomes a more ideal device for fiber to the home.
Then is that box outdoor friendly as is?
Yep.
Okay.
This can be mounted outside, and we set it up for wall mount as well as pole mount if you want to do it with a tie strap here.
Sure.
And then if you do wall mount, there's one here because everyone hates a teardrop. But one teardrop is very usable because you don't need to line anything up. And then on the inside, you put 2 screws here to finish the job.
I hate the things that have like 4 teardrops and like you get
1
the 1
millimeter off, and it's yes, I agree. This is why our access points, which I guess I didn't show earlier, but all of them have removable mounts. So you mount that first and then just snap in the access point. This is for screwing into the wall, or you can snap into the suspended ceiling. So again, avoid the teardrops.
It's quite convenient.
So this board, I realize it's a bare board, and we'll talk about it when we talk about the Metrolink, but this is the next generation insides of the next generation Metrolink, and it's basically a faster version. So again, SFP.
Thank you.
I'm here to help with a power input as well as a 2.5 gigabit in-base T-port, which is backwards compatible with 1 gig and 100 meg, God forbid. So yes, this is sort of the next faster version of the Metrolink platform, the 60 gig platform.
Okay.
And it'll be available in sector for multipoint as well as the 2 different sizes for point-to-point and point-to-multipoint clients.
Okay. Quick question on that one then.
Yep.
Then on that one, was there radio changes or is there just mostly other stuff?
So there is some radio changes. The biggest change is that we're unlocking the next level up of MCS rates.
Okay.
So the current Metrolink's good to an over-the-air rate of 2.5 gigabits per second and a real throughput of about 1.5 gigabits per second aggregate. So this is going to open up that over-the-air rate to reach about 4.5 gigabits per second, 16 quad.
Okay.
And a real throughput, it'll probably start off a little bit above 2 gigs, and it'll be able to get up to about 3 gigabits per second with some software updates over time. Sure.
And I know you mentioned some other Metrolink stuff, but I'm asking now because I'll forget if I don't.
Sure.
The new upper 60 gig band, is that going to be friendly?
We are working on that as well.
Okay.
And yeah, it's very friendly. It's basically going to behave more like an E-band radio. It's out of the oxygen absorption range. So in the beginning, we started out, we have about 7 gigahertz of unlicensed spectrum. This adds another 7 gigahertz out of the oxygen range. So you're looking at typical link distances probably of like 3 to 5 miles. Again, you can use 5 gigahertz backup for less friendly range zones. But ultimately, that means we have 14 gigahertz of unlicensed spectrum, which represents like 95% of all the unlicensed bands live in that band, right?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it's a huge amount of spectrum. So we're really excited about that for the expansion, for the future potential of that.
Okay, and then that platform?
This platform will still be the lower 7 gigahertz.
Okay.
But we'll have a version which will be the upper band later.
Okay.
It's definitely an area of interest for us. So we'll come back to the Metrolink
Sure.
and talk about some of the existing products when we go over to that side.
Sure.
One other upcoming product, which I'll show here, this is the sample here today. Basically has power input, one 2.5 gigabit M-base-T, and 4 1 gig ports. So if you put the power input here, you can output power on the 4 1 gig ports to power other radios. So what's special about this device is that it runs the Trill protocol. So I'll explain a little bit about Trill, or what the reason was for it. When our customers first started deploying 60 gigahertz, basically 60 gigahertz rings, or building out 60 gigahertz networks, they were using originally protocols like G.8032. It was developed for fiber rings. So you know exactly where your ring's going to go, you build it out, and you're done. And G.8032 requires you to like manually break one of the links in the ring, and then it looks and sees if something else breaks, and then it'll bring up the other one and fix it, right? So what happens is, though, when you start building out 60 gigahertz wireless links, you don't really know necessarily where your rings are going to be, and you may end up with rings within rings and nested rings, and you end up with essentially a mesh.
Or a mess.
Or a meshy mesh. We developed this protocol based on the use of Trill in the data center. In the data center space, it's really cool. They needed virtual machine portability, so they developed protocols to let you basically build a mesh of devices, maybe a million connections deep, right? All layer 2, and they can move virtual machines across that fabric. We saw that and we said, look, this would be awesome for building organically built 60 gigahertz links. Trill doesn't care what it is. It works with anything that's layer 2. So if it's a fiber link, if it's any other vendor's layer 2 link, it'll work fine. It just fits really well with our products too, of course. So what was cool about it was that it lets you build these out, and then if you lose a link, it routes packets around it on layer 2. What's bad about it was only available in data center switches. So it's like you need a Ferrari in order to do it.
Sure.
So this product will be the first of its kind, sub $200 product, which can provide this sort of fixed mesh capability.
And actually, that's quite exciting. There's another vendor here that talked about, the advantages of having Trill in a network, and their products combined with your products. Before you even had the Trill box, I said, their stuff, our stuff, add a Trill box. That's a great setup. Now we have the Trill box.
Exactly.
And
we will have a version of this that is SFP+.
Thank you.
Of course.
And yet, I do have some Trill in my network now.
On the data center side?
Not on the WISP side, but more on the Internet Exchange side. I've got it's Trill based. There's a couple Brocade VDX 6720s, and I just love them because Trill was made by the person that made STP when they realized STP sucks. And there's many reasons why it sucks, but one thing is that you only ever have one usable link in an STP environment.
Yes.
Trill will use all of them if it can.
Yep. And we've done a lot of work around the visualizations of that, being able to monitor that, and bring those tools that may have been missing for an ISP.
Okay.
So that's what we've been
So it's not
working on.
just throwing a Trill chipset and call it a day. You've got a whole management section on it.
Exactly. We want to make it super simple to build out reliable networks as fast as you guys can basically build them.
Nice. Yeah. I know in the STP world, you have to worry about all these settings on things and making sure you only plug in this or that. And with the Trill on the switches I have, you just keep plugging in cables between them, and it just
Magic
figures
happens.
it out.
Exactly.
Magic happens and it works.
Exactly.
But it's been around a while, so it actually works. It's
proven. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if it's good enough for a high-end data center, it's good enough for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and this is compatible also with those data center switches. So if you want to bring it upstream as well,
okay,
you can continue to carry that through.
That assuming that they're using actual Trill and not
exactly
whatever Brocade bastardized Trill into, and 2 or 3 other vendors have done the same thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
So cool. So move over this way. So these products we have. These are the first Metrolink products that we're shipping. This is the 19 centimeter version, the smaller size, and it can be a point-to-point or a point-to-multipoint client. And then moving on to this one is a larger size. This is also showing the what we call the long range bracket. So there's two bracket options now. There's one with a very deep throw, I would say. So basically, if you need to go from pole to skyscraper, for example, you need a large angle to be able to go up. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
So this is good for that. This is good for longer range links where you need to, fine tune it very, very carefully.
Now I have a boom mic and boom camera.
And this one is our 30-degree sector. As I mentioned, we are working on a 90-degree beamforming sector that'll be available in a couple of months.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we're working on some other next-generation ones too that even give broader coverage than 90 degrees. Again, all of our products that are Metrolink, they basically have both 60 gigahertz as well as 5 gigahertz for failover. Multipoint is the same thing. So each client, on a client-by-client basis, can be connected on 60 or 5, depending on the conditions. Today, we can support up to 8 clients per sector. That'll be expandable in a month or so to 14, and eventually we'll get up to what I would consider a wireless GPON level of 32.
Okay.
And that'll be, of course, with all of our multi-point Metrolink products. Now, the elephant in the room. We did have some hiccups last year with a component issue with some of our products and had to do a recall. Thankfully, we are past that now, and if you go out to our Facebook user group, you'll see lots of happiness there now, and sunshine and rainbows. So we're happy to be past that. If anyone who still has a problem, of course, reach out to us. We're always here to help, always here to support our products, and we stand behind them. So
like there was some issues with the component problem, some issues were firmware, which has been released.
Yep. Exactly. It's we're pioneers in this space, especially driving the cost down. We're working towards this year. We'll have a client that's under $300. So that's what we're really driving towards, is bringing gigabit tools to the ISPs that are affordable.
In the Metrolink 60 platform,
exactly.
Okay, yeah,
we'll break that barrier.
The $500 is it's cheaper than fiber, but it's still a tough pill to swallow for many WISPs.
Yeah.
Conceptualizing $500 for a home CPE. I mean, 15 years ago that's what we did.
Yeah.
But not lately. So it's nice. $300. That's a lot more reasonable.
When we started this, if we knew that we couldn't reach that price point, we wouldn't even have done it. We feel like, and we'll continue to work to drive that down further, but we think that's the first major barrier to make it a mass market product. Right?
Sure.
So yeah, that was a big goal for us.
And then I guess a bit of some feedback-esque praise from other people. I've seen a lot of stuff come out at or announced at World Mobile Conference, and there's some new competition.
Sure. It's a hot market.
But the distributor that I talked to said, out of all of the new entrants, there's four or five new platforms. 2 of them were the only ones he would consider close to production, quality.
Yeah.
One of them being IgniteNet, and for somebody that's new at this and being 6 people in the game and being one of the 2 that's worth,
we're happy to be there.
worth deploying.
Yeah.
Especially given the component issue, they're still one of the best ones to do.
Yeah, we're happy to have that experience behind us now.
I think I mentioned it last time, talked about it, but I've got one of their Metrolink 60 links, 680 meters, and I haven't touched it since I deployed it, 2 weeks after deployment in September, 6 months now.
Yeah.
I haven't touched it because it works great, so I just leave it alone.
Yeah. We have a lot of people with the same story, and we have some which had issues, and again, we've all the ones that we've swapped out have been good to go. So yeah, and then one other thing I'll point out is, so we do spec this at a gigabit per second, the current platform. With the latest software, we're up to about 1.4 to 1.5. So that's aggregate. So if you go one way, it's a gig. If you go the other way, it's a gig. Bidirectional, maybe 700, 750.
Sure. Okay.
So.
Good deal. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike.